Hello, Will Philly. Hey, Air Force. My uncle flies the A-10 Warthogs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. 600 miles an hour, a couple hundred feet off the ground, right? Congratulations on the election. It was congratulations to Gina, Juan Carlos, and myself, who had a wonderful time talking to everybody in town. And the good thing about the election is, no matter what, it's a great opportunity for everyone to get informed about all the issues and get a lot of feedback from everybody. So that's great. And I think the most important thing that I think would be great is if the committee answers questions on the spot. So we want, questions, and this is what residents were telling me too. We want questions answered right now, here. And this would be super helpful, to what's expected of government officials across the board, everywhere in the country, of course. The residents want answers to their questions right on the spot here. So I would implore you, I would ask if everyone could answer questions. That would be great. And the residents over on Colby Lane regarding the cell tower, did they give an opinion whether they wanted this legal action to stop? Or were they interested in that continuing? Because I know the ruling in Pennsylvania that was cited was completely different than what our case is here in Cranford. In fact, the ruling in Pennsylvania would actually confirm and help our case here in Cranford. The ruling in Pennsylvania is about cell coverage out on middle of nowhere and the need for cell coverage for a driver who could be stranded in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. But of course, we're talking about in Cranford, this is nothing but cell coverage everywhere there. So that was actually an issue. I wondered if you could tell us if the residents were for or against discontinuing the lawsuit. Okay. And I've worked very hard in the past few years to get a lot of the answers that I couldn't get, or questions that I had that I wasn't able to find answers from the committee themselves. And we worked very hard, of course. But the one question I really couldn't answer, and I'd feel great if I knew this answer, and I'm trying to find out, is that, and a lot of residents ask me this too, because people are concerned about overdevelopment and why we'd be giving very large tax exemptions to wealthy developers. And the big question was, as our attorney said, why did we give Hartz Mountain, who's been so uncooperative, a $95 million tax exemption in return for very little in return? And the only answer we ever got was that our attorney said recently was that we did it because we had to give them this tax exemption to prevent them from building 905 units on the same property instead of having 250 units. But for Hartz Mountain to reduce the units from 905 to 250, that means they'd take a loss in revenue of $850 million. So my question is, why would Hartz Mountain accept a $90 million tax exemption if it costs them $850 million in revenue? That's not a trade anyone would make. So if you could answer that for the public, that would be I think helpful if there's a reason. Do you think that these are answers? Okay. So I guess I feel, and if it's, I'd be willing to, I think it'd be great if we could, just have answers. Maybe, and follow-up questions, I think, should also be answered at all times. This is how we can understand each other. And this is what residents deserve, absolutely. I mean, they pay a lot of taxes, and the taxes are going
Mr.
up.
Philly, that's your 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comments this evening? Going once, going twice.
Hearing none.
Oh, I'm here.
Ah,
Thank you. Will Philly.
You stole it. It's okay.
Mayor, I'd just like to just request, with all due respect, seriously, I'd like you to, if you have things to say about me, every time I speak something, you wait till I get off the podium and you say things, and you talk about, excuse me, I'm speaking.
Mr. Philly, this is specifically with regard to the ordinance. If your
I'm gonna talk
comments
about
are
the
relevant to the ordinance, please go ahead.
This is all relevant to the ordinance, absolutely. Everything that I'm saying is relevant to everything that's happening here. And I just ask that you kindly, if you have an issue or want to say, you talk a lot about disparaging people and this abuse you've received, and you've done nothing but...
This is a reminder that this should be
talking.
about the ordinance. If these comments are not about the ordinance, you can return to your seat.
So this is about the ordinance. Please stop interrupting me, okay? I'll speak in the way I wish about the ordinance, and please stop interrupting me. And I'd appreciate you do not, you talk a lot about disparaging people, and you come up here and slander me every time.
Mr. Philly, you are not following the rules here. This is about the ordinance.
No,
If
you're
you
abusing.
cannot talk about the ordinance before us, then please return to your seat or you'll be found out of order.
You're not following code of conduct in a meeting. You're not allowed
I
to.
am. This is literally what I'm doing.
No, you're literally not allowed to say things about people when they walk away, okay? And you're not allowed to lie about things.
Okay. Mr. Philly, you are out of order. Please return to your seat.
My
Do
case
we
is,
have any other comments on ordinance number 2024-26?
my case is on appeal. It is not
Philly.
dismissed. Do not lie. I have the appeal number,
Mr.
A032.
Philly, you are out of order. Please return to your seat.
What you're doing is unconstitutional. Okay? So please, you've heard
Have a
me.
good night, Mr. Philly.
Do not, don't.
Any other
Are
comments
there-
on ordinance number 2024-06? Hearing none. Oh.
I'll be brief on this. I just wanted to apologize for my behavior on the last ordinance when I was up here. I'm sorry I asked you questions or, challenge anything you ever said
Mr. Philly,
about
is
me.
this going to be on the ordinance?
Yeah, I think the ordinance is great.
Okay.
And I just want to apologize because I know the mayor is, a really smart person and knows best, and I should never ask him questions. So I apologize for ever, challenging anything he tells me or the public, and I should not ask questions. And I'll try to never ask a question again or bother our town to find questions for anything because that's so rude of me to do that. I'm so sorry. And thank you, and I apologize. Thank you all. I'm very embarrassed.
As you should be.
Yes.